We won. We won. It was a rigged election.
We are in Arizona at a Donald Trump rally. This is no ordinary election. The fear is that if Donald Trump comes back, American democracy itself could be at stake.
He stands for the Constitution.
The Constitution?
Yes.
Okay, but he's not accepting the results of the last election. That's
That's
as
because the last
unconstitutional
election
as
was
it gets.
rigged.
They should both be in front of a firing squad. Two of them.
Oh, firing squad. Whoa.
Firing squad.
What about Trump saying they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs?
A lot of countries that are bringing their people over, they're into this satanic type of worship.
When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins.
Remember, Constitution khatre mein hai, democracy khatre mein hai from an election back home not that long ago? Well, this is the turbocharged, Trumpified American edition of the same thing. The fears about Trump are not unfounded. He has persisted with the lie that he won in 2020.
We won. We won. It was a rigged election.
He's been charged with inciting a riot to overturn the results.
And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
This time too, he's been ambivalent about conceding if he loses.
We had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again.
If Trump wins, still a big problem for American democracy. Again, in his own words. Remember, he said he wants to be dictator for a day.
He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
He has threatened to settle scores with his rivals.
Look, when this election is over, based on what they've done, I would have every right to go after them. And it's easy because it's Joe Biden.
To say nothing of the daily flood of disinformation.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Despite all this democracy-threatening rhetoric, why is Donald Trump still a major contender in a country which claims to cherish its democratic values? Why is he right up there, neck and neck, with Kamala Harris? We're here to find out. Team News Laundry on the road to the Trump rally in the border state of Arizona. A drive of 100 miles from Phoenix through desert terrain. Arizona is one of a handful of swing states. Biden won it last time by just 10,000 votes. The venue, a heavily guarded sports arena. The faithful have been assembling in droves since 6 a.m., 8 hours before Trump takes the stage.
The
vibe is less political rally, more a homage to the cult of Trump.
What have we got there?
I got all types of stuff. I got the business shirt right here, guys.
Trump fans 24. Legends never die. Oh, this is the just after the assassination.
Yeah, it's a t-shirt and I have a sweatshirt too.
Let's look at this one. You missed bitches. Here, the constant dilemma. Do you take offense or laugh it off?
Roses are red, Kamala's not black. Joe has dementia and Hunter's on crack.
The Trumpian threat to American democracy, though, is no laughing matter. How does that sit with his believers? Ma'am, can you tell us your name and what brings you here today?
My name is Lynn, and I'm here to stand for Trump.
Okay, and you live around here, Lynn?
Yes.
And what's the reason why you're supporting Trump? What's the positive here?
He stands for the Constitution.
The Constitution?
Yes.
Okay, but he's not accepting the results of the last election. That's as
because the last
unconstitutional
election
as
was
it gets.
rigged.
He doesn't believe in elections.
He's
an election denier.
They're screwed up. Don't believe them.
Don't believe Trump's rivals? Okay, what about his own party men right here in Arizona? A Republican election official in Arizona's Maricopa County pushed back against Trump's attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election in the county. For his defiance, the official, Stephen Richer, said he received a flood of threats. You think it was rigged?
Yes, it was. I know that from Maricopa County. That's a perfect example.
That's the county here in Arizona.
That's the county here in Arizona.
Where
That's
there were
what
allegations
made,
that there was rigging.
Yes, that was what made me my determination on that.
But ma'am, you do know that the official there, he was Republican himself, he came out and said there was no evidence of fraud. The
And
courts have found no evidence of fraud.
He's paid for too.
He's paid
I'm
for
done.
it.
Okay, conversation over.
Conversation over. No patience for election denialism, but what about the other big red flag? January 6th though, not a red flag?
Oh, that was set up. That was CIA, FBI. They were in on it. You know, plus a bunch of dolts. Teleport. No,
That wasn't Trump inciting
no. He said to peacefully go up to the Capitol.
And January 6th, the riots, I mean, he urged people to go and fight.
Do you really want me to say it?
What?
Those were not you and me, the average civilians.
The people who rioted?
Yeah, those were not them.
Okay.
They were instigated.
Okay, so what about red flag 3? Trump wanting to prosecute his rivals? This couple goes a step further. For America's botched pullout of Afghanistan, this is how they think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden should be punished.
They should both be in front of a firing squad. Two of them.
Oh, firing squad. Whoa.
Firing squad. Well, that's our
Are we
penalty.
allowed to say that?
We had a penalty
well.
for treason. Treason is the word, right?
Right.
Firing squad used to be the answer.
But that was another time. I mean, you're now a modern democracy. You don't believe in firing squads.
When you give the enemy $80 billion worth of equipment and you waste hundreds and hundreds of American lives,
Sure.
what do you
dead
think
military?
should be the penalty? What do you think should be the penalty?
I mean, anything that abides by the law, like whatever the law of the land is,
Right.
Yeah.
which is, as far as I know, not firing squads. A firing squad for Trump's rivals. And what if Trump's own ever-expanding rap sheet, from being convicted for making hush money payments to a porn star to being fined millions of dollars for business fraud?
The fact that Biden and his son were in bed with the Chinese bothers me a lot more. And then they were also in bed with what's the other country we're fighting with now, with the Russians?
Ukraine.
Ukraine, yeah, they were involved with Ukraine in a crooked deal.
Why would that bother you more than all the cases against
Because they're
Trump?
giving away so much more money to Ukraine,
Okay.
right? You can't deny that. We're giving our weapons away, billions of dollars worth of weapons to Ukraine so they can fight Putin. I could care less what's going on in Ukraine, but I don't want my money going to support Ukraine.
Okay, but that's not corruption though. Trump has been charged with corruption.
The corruption
Yeah,
is
in America.
The corruption is they've overlooked Biden's son with his corruption with Ukraine. The corruption with the Chinese.
A willingness here to dismiss even charges of infidelity and sexual abuse. Remember, much of Trump's base are conservative Americans who valorize family values and high scruples.
You know what? It's locker room talk. You're a man. You're going to tell me you don't talk that way? Come on. It's locker room talk. They're making it out. Did he do the things he did? Absolutely not. Did he have an affair? Absolutely he did.
But in the law, the sexual harassment case, it's not the locker room talk. He was actually convicted.
Right. Of sexual
huge fee,
assault.
yeah.
So what? That doesn't mean it's true.
This much is true. Trump, for his followers, can do no wrong. Is there anything that Trump would do that would make you not vote for him? Is there any red line or red flag?
Sorry to cut into your viewing experience, but just want to say that we're not just in the US to point out Trump's red flags. We're there to unpack why he's so appealing to these voters, why he's found a story to sell. This is a story that's bigger than politicians who hit the headlines. It's a story of people who think they can and should make their lives better. It's what journalism should be all about, to tell those stories, or at least some of those stories. Arizona is just the first of our stops. You can send us further. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or log on to newslaundry.com/Sena. The link is also in the show notes below. Select the US Election Project and pick an amount of your choice. You'll help us tell these stories and not large corporations or governments, because journalism should depend on your contributions, because it's going to tell Your stories, not the corporates, not governments.
The Trump bhakts we spoke to are not at first glance crazy. They're in construction, in sales, army veterans, accountants.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Yet, that Trump is an outsider, let's give him a chance logic no longer applies. Trump has had 4 years in office with a patchy governance record, like his much reported mishandling of the COVID pandemic. So why the continuing Trump bhakti? One explanation coming on the other side of this long queue. Okay, so we are here at the Trump rally in Phoenix. We're in the Aam Janta queue because we tried to go on the website and try to register as
get media credentials, yeah.
Didn't get through, they turned it down. So then we registered as part of the crowd. And which means A, we're in this very long queue, so we'll hopefully get it. At just after 2 p.m., Trump makes his entry.
Well, thank you very much. And a very big hello, Arizona. We love you, Arizona. Thank you.
Within moments, he sets the stage for what is to follow.
For 4 straight years, she's imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons all over the world. They've taken the street criminals, they've taken the drug dealers and the drug lords, they've taken all of these people and they've busted them into the United States.
So the rally started straight away, gone into the whole migrant invasion thing. This isn't surprising because, I mean, we're in Arizona, we're in a border state. Where this rally is, it's about 4 hours from the Mexican border.
Yeah.
So we knew he was going to go off on this.
Ballistic.
Yeah, he's going to go ballistic. The anti-immigrant rhetoric, not just bigoted, but laced with falsehoods.
One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua. This Venezuelan gang is terrorizing law-abiding citizens, including taking over the multiple apartment complexes. And let's take a little look at them.
Then gather around the door and go in.
The migrants that come in are very nice people. No, they're not nice people. No, we're not getting the nice ones. We're getting people that levels of crime and violence and viciousness like you've never seen before.
It's true that immigration surged in the first 3 years of the Biden administration and is now falling. But there's nothing to link that surge with rising crime. Data shows crime rose in the years that immigration fell, and vice versa.
And under Kamala Harris, 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers are roaming free in the United States.
Reality check. This 14,000 figure,
13,000.
13,000 figure is mentioned. These have been coming in decades.
40 years ago.
At least over 40 years. They've not come in during the Biden administration. So some of them have even come in when Trump was president.
Exactly.
A Mexican wave holding signs saying secure the border. I mean, yeah. Hashtag irony. In a rambling 2-hour speech, Trump repeatedly goes off topic, only to return to his pet peeve.
Let me see the chart, my all-time favorite chart, by the way. See if you can drop it down. I didn't tell him I was going to. But you see the arrow on the bottom. That's the day I left office. Look what happened afterwards. It was like an explosion, like a rocket, like Elon's rocket. Did you see the way that sucker landed today? What was it? I looked at it and I said, oh, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad. It's coming down so fast. But in Aurora, Colorado, and communities in all 50 states, this Venezuelan gang is terrorizing law-abiding citizens.
Crafting a false narrative of a migrant invasion plays well to Trump's base of white voters, who make up a bulk of the audience. Here's the irony. It even resonates with some people of color.
Here I am.
That's what I was going to say.
A black man.
Yes.
Standing here.
What about Trump saying they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs? You don't believe that, surely?
What I do believe, it's not that they're eating them, they're sacrificing them. A lot of countries that are bringing their people over, they're into this satanic type of worship. So it's not where they're eating them, but they are being sacrificed, and that's been documented in New York City. That's something that's already proven.
But in Springfield, Ohio, which is where this allegation was made, that the Haitians are doing that.
Yes,
I believe that the Republican governor of Ohio has come out and said that's not true. The Republican mayor of Springfield has said it's not true.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that they are. What I am saying is I do believe that they're being sacrificed.
Where you live, have you personally faced any problems with immigrants?
So I live in a small town in New Mexico. However, I've recently heard that we do have illegals that work in the marijuana industry.
Okay. In your town?
Yes.
Okay. But have you come across or faced any problem yourself?
Personally, no.
Okay.
But I live pretty close to Albuquerque. And
in New Mexico.
That
the main city
used to be a beautiful, nice, tourist-friendly city, and now it's run down. There is so much crime.
Right.
From traffic to burglaries to violent crimes.
But is that immigrants though? Because that could just be crime. I mean, that's a problem.
Well,
false narratives of a majority under threat, majority khatre mein hai, may help Trump fire up his base. But he lost in 2020 to Joe Biden by 7 million votes. To win in 2024, he needs to broaden his pitch to persuade the fence-sitters. I put this to Puneet Ahluwalia, a US-based Republican analyst. So tell us, how does Trump's doubling down on the immigrant threat help persuade voters on the fence?
I think immigration, safety and security, and most importantly, inflation, the cost of doing business today, cost of food, it's impacted everybody in all communities. And I think he's just not focusing on immigration only.
Yes, inflation is an issue. Several polls show American voters are unhappy with the Biden government's inability to control rising prices. Inflation has since come down, but voters remain angry.
When inflation goes high, you can't buy anything. I mean, a truck, I want to replace my truck. It's $80,000 to buy a new truck to replace the one I have.
Right.
I can't afford that, and I'm not going to do that.
Yet Trump, by his own admission, seems to be running on a one-point agenda.
But I think that the number one issue they have down is the economy and inflation, and I agree, they're horrible issues. But I think the number one issue is the destruction of our country, what's happened at the border. I really think that's actually the number one issue. And I don't care what a poll says. And it's close anyway, but I don't care what a poll says.
He doesn't care for polls? Or is it because he doesn't have a clear plan on how to fix inflation, other than a catchy slogan?
And drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill.
Trump seems to be suggesting that by drilling more oil domestically, energy prices will drop, as will inflation, a claim, like many of Trump's others, found to be misleading. Inflation is caused by a variety of factors, not just energy prices. Moreover, US domestic energy production was at record highs under Biden. Claims on how to fix the economy, misleading or otherwise, are clearly a sideshow for Donald Trump. His main pitch, his closing arguments for the campaign of 2024 is to ramp up the majority khatre mein hai rhetoric. But that's not the only reason why he still remains a contender. Trump is and remains a showman. There's the clowning around as he shows off an immigration chart that he says helped him survive the assassination attempt.
I sleep with it, I kiss it.
the playing of an obnoxious clip on getting rid of wokeness in the army, to which you can only laugh.
Our military will never be woke. Take a look at this on the beautiful screen behind me. Take a look.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! You will not laugh! You will not cry! You will learn by the numbers!
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
I don't want to be part of this, actually. I don't want to be laughing.
And the constant comical narcissism.
I could have been on the most beautiful beaches in the world right now. I could have been enjoying the life, the waves smacking me in the face, my beautiful mane of hair blowing in the breeze.
I'm in America to report on one of the most high-stakes elections in its history. Similar to a high-stakes election we just had. Remember, democracy khatre mein hai, constitution khatre mein hai? Well, that's what Donald Trump's rivals say will happen to America if he comes to power. Watch our reports from inside the election that could change America forever. And as always, remember to back this kind of journalism. It's ambitious, it's expensive. You did that and helped us get to Israel. Now, do it so we can tell more stories like this one.